What up, Steve?
What up, man? What's going on?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm good, dude. Just getting through life. No complaints.
Good. I love that. I wanted to have you on because I want to do a podcast with you. I think you're a fucking awesome man, awesome dad, awesome husband, and I just really love all the shit you say. And so I want you to shine, and I wanted to figure out a way to do that. So I have you here. Yeah. We talk about whatever. There's nothing that you can't ask me. We can't ask each other. As far as I'm concerned, we're good.
Yeah.
Sick. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Man, I appreciate you having me on, dude. I feel the same about you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
why I wanted to do this. I was like, why are we having all these amazing conversations and not
putting it out there?
Putting it out there.
Here we go.
Makes no sense.
Right, yeah.
So do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about you in the beginning of your story. Like, I know it's cool. You actually knew my wife before I knew my wife.
Yeah.
And I was so glad you didn't sleep with her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's every guy's
Strictly
thought.
platonic.
You're like, did you touch her vagina?
What do you mean you knew her before me?
Did you know her?
No, I just kind of knew of her.
Ah, okay, cool. No, it's fine. It's life. We're adults. I don't really care. But it's just fun.
We are not tunnel buddies. If we want to talk about that. No.
What is that? Eskimo
friends or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't fucking sure. Either way, but. Yeah, so you did all this cool stuff. You've had all these cool things, and right now, and tell me what you do now, and then you know, kind of tell me your story. Like, run it.
I can kind of give you the quick zip through. I've been fortunate enough to have my hand in a lot of different buckets, and so we can start it with played college football, graduated from Las Vegas, born and raised here, graduated high school. Sure. And then played college football 2 years at Alcorn State in Southern Mississippi. College football scholarship took me down there. 2 years in the Deep South was life change, and it was cultural shock. It was an HBCU, so that's cool. A little experience down there. But after 2 years, transferred home to UNLV, played 2 years there. And then when I was coming out of UNLV, I really didn't know what direction I was going to go. I didn't finish school. I was like 18 credits away from finishing school, and I realized later that I was going to school to play football, not to go to school and get a degree or, had a life plan. And so I had a girlfriend at the time whose sister worked room and reservation at the Hard Rock. And she was like, oh, I can get you into security.
Sick.
And that's how the whole security thing started for me. So I started working security at the Hard Rock casino floor. The guys in the nightclub are like, hey, man, you got a mouthpiece. You can talk. You can probably come down here, talk to some people, earn some money, cash on the side. And that was like the 04, 05 blow up when real estate was crazy. And guys would come to the nightclubs in Vegas, and they were dropping $100,000 on tabs, and everybody was walking out of there with $1,000 in their pocket cash every single night. So there I was, 22 years old, making $1,500, $2,000 Friday, Saturday, Sunday cash.
Gangster, you know how much money that is at that time?
So ridiculous, yeah. And if I was only smart enough, I'd probably still be able to live off of how much I'd made in the 6 years or so that I was there. But anyway, so that's how I met Claude. So I was in the nightclubs and started working the pool. And at some point in my stretch during the Hard Rock, she got a job as a pool cocktail waitress. So I became friends with her, and it was legit friends. And
I don't care, dude.
No, I know.
Was just I just had to I always like bringing up the awkward moments in the room. Like it's gonna be hey, is that a thing? Yeah. Like I think it's fucking funny, man. I think people hold so much shit like this, and I'm like, why? Just
everyone comes from so many different places still. And in Vegas, it's such a small melting pot, but everybody knows everybody at some point. It's like, oh yeah, I know him through him. What's that Kevin Bacon thing? Everyone is 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Have you ever heard that? Yes. Well, the truth is everyone's 1 or 2, here in Vegas. Yeah. So anyway, so I get to know Claude. We become friends. And how crazy is it that 20 years later, we would cross paths and you guys would come over to the house for a workout, and it's she gets out of the car and I'm like, dude, I know you, that kind of thing.
So weird. And it's weird because we saw your wife at an event, and we met her there, and then they were like, oh, we live in Vegas. Oh, I live in Vegas. And then was like, let's hang out.
Christy comes home. She's like, I met these 2 awesome people that are in Vegas. Let's go hang out with them. And I was like, okay, who are they? And she's like, it's Noah and Claude. And I'm like, hold on. How many people in this world are named fucking Claude, right? 1.
That we've met anyways on this side. If you go over to Canada, there's a fucking fuck ton of them.
Canada, actually.
Canada, yes, Canada.
Yeah. So, but that was cool. And the Hard Rock is what kind of took me from security in the casino into personal and executive protection. So I happened to be around the Hard Rock, and a buddy of mine was running security for the Joint, which is the concert venue. He had me help out with musicians and management as far as liaising around the property. And then one day I just got asked to help out with an artist that was doing rehearsals for their tour. And after helping out for 3 or 4 days, they were like, hey, do you want to go on tour? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go on tour. I'm going to try this shit out.
Hell yeah.
So I did that, and then I ended up spitballing that into a 12-year personal security career. You know, I just did it all 1099 and just bounced. And what the cool thing is about that music industry is once you go on tour with an artist, the 2 or 3 artists that open up for that band at some point are going to become headliners, right? So you network unknowingly, getting to know them, getting to know their management. And then they're like, oh shit, we need somebody. Steve was great. And then before you know it, boom, 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 down the road, you know, you're doing it for 12 years.
If you're smart, you do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to be in it for a long time and had some success with it. But around the end of that is when I met Christy, my wife. And so in meeting her and knowing that I'd ruined half a dozen relationships from all the travel and bad communication of my 20s.
Oops.
And doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's when I met her and was like, okay, I got to change some things up. And so we started talking about long-term marriage, kids, made the exit strategy. And she was in the fitness world. So that was a good turn for me because I was traveling. I was unhealthy. I, at one point, was an alcoholic when I was at the Hard Rock. I was legit. Yeah, I mean, like I worked the nightclubs, and if I wasn't working one, I was in one. Yep. I was at the bar after the pool for 12 hours. You know, you'd be at the pool working, and then you go to the bar for, you know, all night long. And you just don't realize it, and you're caught up in this thing. And so after playing like college football and being a healthy person my entire life, fell into this like alcoholic spiral, you know? And so I went from like 230 pounds to 300 pounds.
Oh shit.
Hadn't lifted a weight in probably 3 or 4 years and just was like going down rapidly, you know? Damn. So I started to get it together a little bit, got back to the gym. The personal security stuff was helping. And then with all the travel and the personal security life, you can't really drink and wake up and like secure someone and look after someone. And so that kind of subsided a lot of it. But, you know, once I met Christy, yeah, you can't really, like, I can't be, you know, like 3 sheets to the wind, just fucked up, you know, and like, hey, let's go, you know, do whatever. And like, I'm holding this person down and making sure they don't get mobbed by 80 people. So, yeah, exactly. I'm over here sweating it. And they're like, why does Steve smell like fucking gin and tonic today? And it's like, well, I spent the 9-hour flight to Europe in the back galley with the flight attendants fucking just drinking the whole time while everyone else who's normal was sleeping on the 9-hour flight. I was back there boozing it up. And this just was what it was. You know, I'd be standing in baggage claim with like Jack Daniels dripping down my forehead. So just craziness. But so yeah, so I link with Christy and she gets my act right. She's a fitness person. She's a personal trainer. She's got drive. She's healthy and, you know, changed me around. I mean, I had psoriasis on my knees, my shins down to my ankles, like plaque psoriasis from bad diet, alcohol, just beating my, you know, autoimmune system to shit. And so I cleared all that up with food, health, you know, activity. And so she really kind of turned my life around and got us into the fitness thing. And then in 2020, I'm wrapping up my who are you story. In 2020, when the pandemic happened and shut shit down, she was a personal trainer and was training in-person clients at a gym.
Got it.
The gym shut down. She and I had that conversation and it was like, what are we going to do moving forward from here for you career-wise? And she was like, well, I got to train clients. Like, I don't know anything else. I've been a trainer for 15 years. And so we decided to take the money that she was paying the gym for like dues to train their clients there.
Monthly dues and everything.
Don't get rid of that. We'll just take that $700 and we'll put it each month into equipment for the home gym. Boom, 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 boom. So we just started doing that. Next thing you know, we end up with this awesome home gym and people that are willing to come to our house knowing that we're safe and we're healthy, that they're not going to get infected, you know, or whatever it was at that point. And, you know, once we got into like the summer of 2020, people started to kind of go, is this whole thing like really real? I started like question, do we need the mask? Do we need the distance? All that stuff. So people were more, you know, apt to come to it. And she created this online business, fitlvfitness.com. And that's what she and I still do to this day. She took all of her in-person training and put it all online for the folks who couldn't come to us at the house. And, now the business has a couple hundred clients, almost 200 clients all across the nation, a couple out of country. We've got a couple of people in Europe. And so, yeah, man, it's a couple clients in Canada.
And
so, yeah. And
gotta have them, man. They're in there. I got a couple clients in Canada. Like,
yeah, it's funny, too, when they talk because they got that French in there. It's like they all got marbles in their mouth. So I just like
or you get the other side.
I just like to mess with Claude on that. Yeah, I just like to mess with Claude. So.
They're like the nicest people you'll ever meet.
They are, yeah. Yeah, it's like you try to, like, you can't even get them into a fight. It's just like,
there's no way. They'll nice you out of it.
You talk smack to them and they give you a hug. And it's like, what's going on right now?
I don't understand your tactics are confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand how you're coming at me. But yeah, so
you got the reference and I was like, I fucked up the line.
But no, absolutely. Okay. So, yeah, but so like that's kind of how we ended up where we are. And so now, I was never a trainer or a coach.
Right.
Never was. Christy always was that person. And so after her business was built, I really started to hunker down on my own self, like 2020, and went from 285 to like 230, cut myself down, got myself in good shape. And her clients' husbands all started saying, well, what's Steve doing? When's Steve going to coach? I would sign up with Steve. And she's like, why don't you coach these guys? And I'm like, because I don't know shit about coaching. And then she hit me with it. And I don't know where it came from. And so I always say that it came from her. And she said, you're powerfully positioned to help the person you once were.
Dope.
Well, who was I? I was a big fat ass, 300-pound alcoholic shithead that was running through the streets of Vegas, didn't have a direction in life or where I was going. And through her and becoming a father and wanting my own health, squared all that bullshit away. And without even realizing it, that resonated with men. Yep. And so that became sort of like the fulfilling thing for me. Now I can say, hey, you were once an athlete. You were once active. You once did this. Fatherhood got you 40 extra pounds. Stresses of marriage, life with a wife, like all that stuff hits you and takes a toll. And so the program that started off as a fitness program became a lifestyle sustainability program. It's very similar to what you do. What can I do to be the best version of me, not just fitness and nutrition and looking good in the mirror, which I like to look good naked, but I also want to be awesome and be able to perform and be able to be a loving husband and an awesome father and a present father, which is why I stopped traveling and all that kind of shit just spitballed together. And when she hit me with that quote, it was like life-changing for me. I was like, damn, like I really am in in a position where I have an opportunity to help someone who's where I was 4 or 5 years ago and doesn't know where to start. And I can fast track that shit by 6 months or a year instead of having to work through all the trial and error that I did, in 4 or 5 years.
And I think that's so cool that you said that. But I don't think these men realize, like, when you have that kind of a power and then you go in to help them, you're like, listen, I didn't fucking have anybody. And if you look at all the stuff you just explained, if you had somebody, like, you could have had more money, you could have had more life, all this other stuff. Now, like, granted, you wouldn't be where you are today. And so a friend of mine—
You need a bit of the struggle.
Yeah, and like a friend of mine, Justin, said this. I forgot where he got the quote, but it was like, if the past were to be any other way, it would have been.
Right.
So it's like, but it can't be.
It can't be.
It can't be. But now you can take these people and make their future 10 times better because you can just fast track the shit out of it. If they could just understand that. And I feel like that's half the battle, is just getting them to go, hey, guy, I can do this. I was this motherfucker. And then as long as they believe you, shit, it's a wrap.
And that's the cool thing is, like, I don't consider myself a salesman when I'm talking about, like, oh, Steve, what do you do? Like, I don't sell you anything. I don't pitch you anything. Like, here's what happened to me. Here's what I did to fix it. And it took me almost 5 years. I'm laying it all out for you so you can do this program in 24 weeks.
Like that.
36 weeks, whatever it is, And I tell some guys come to me and they're like, hey man, I got to drop 80 pounds. I heard you can do it in 6 months. No, motherfucker, I can't. Like, I can, but it won't be sustainable. You won't be happy, and it's not going to improve all the other areas of life.
Which is the point of what you're doing.
Which is anyways. The point of why I'm here. This isn't a fitness men's coaching program so that you can just be fit.
Yeah.
It's not about the mirror. It's not about the scale. This is about, like, direction of life. Like, what kind of dad are you going to be as you implement all this new shit into your life as well?
Yep.
You're going to take on fitness. You're going to take on nutrition. Like, do you have the support from your spouse? Are your kids going to be involved in this? Is this going to trickle down to your kids? Like, my kids, I know Nova's in the garage doing shit with you all the time. Like, you guys do, you're active. Like, I expect when my kids don't come out to the garage in the middle of my workout, I'm kind of like, what the fuck are the kids doing? Yeah. Because they know I'm working out, and they know they can come out and do their push-ups, do their pull-ups. They can join in whatever it is, and we'll figure out a scale for you to do it, man. You partake in this thing, and they're 6 and 8 years old. Like, I want that to be a staple of their life so that they don't end up like me in 2007.
Right.
Spiraling and lucky to not be fucking dead. Seriously.
That part. No, and what's cool is, too, is I don't think people, and I'm saying this, and I'm saying this specifically for dads on purpose, because a lot of dads worry if they're going to be good fathers. And, like, that's really a worry as a man. And I think we'll never stop worrying about that.
I question it now.
Yeah, like, every single day. Like, am I doing a good job? I look at him a year ago. I'm like, oh, I could have been better. He would look at his smiling little face in that picture. But the fact that you give a shit, like the way you just said, that even if it works out half as good as you just talked about, you're going to be 10 times better than 100 times better than the majority of fathers that are out there not even trying.
You know what's wild? I always tell people that I think my expectation of my boys, my expectation level is too high. And what you just said, like, just made me realize that, like, I have a pretty high expectation level of myself also, and like how I'm gonna be with that. It just dawned on me now. Like, you're
That's
damn
awesome.
right. Like what I expect from them directly comes from me.
Exactly.
And so my expectation level of myself is up there.
Right. And then you got to realize too, like, you just doing you, like, you don't have to say anything to these kids. Like, I really believe that, like, personally. And I don't know if you do, but like, I watch Nova. And when I really realized it for the first time is I spit. And he was in the stroller. He's in front of me. He didn't see me spit. This motherfucker spit in 2 seconds. Like, before I could think about him, there spit from him. And I was like, this motherfucker is going to do everything I say or do. Man, I get mad at the dog. I saw him do it. And my wife looked at me and I was like, like, it is literally there. I go, so you can have an expectation of yourself and do you as much as you can. And they're going to go, that's my fucking dad right there. And like, if you're a good man, like, you know, I don't know how you were raised with your father or what that situation was like. You know what I mean? Mine was like weird and indifferent and stuff like that. And I didn't really feel like I had that. And I still feel like sometimes I'm trying to figure it out and I don't even know that's normal. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes I'm like, fuck, am I doing this dad shit? Like, I didn't have dad. Am I doing this man shit right? Like, it's all a fucking, fuckery. But you look at it and you go, you have expectations of yourself. If you crush the shit out of that as much as possible, like, you just watch the world follow in those footsteps of expectations. And it's pretty fucking cool.
It's always funny, like, you know, when you talk about, like, you know, how you were raised by your parents and, like, how you said, like, you know, I don't know if you had that, but, like, I had a rough one, you know, with my parents and the whole deal.
Okay.
My parents were fucking fantastic. Like, I don't know how to tell that to some people sometimes. But
Tell
like,
it to them, man. Fuck it. If you had fantastic parents, that's good.
My parents were around. My parents were great. My father was a cop for 30 years in Vegas and was a fucking hard ass and was was exactly what you would expect a cop dad to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I can look back at that and go, damn, like, I know why he did all that. I know why things were strict. I know why. Because he got to see the shit side of people all the time, right? And then my mother, who was a flight attendant for 35 years, traveled a lot, but made sure that the time spent together was always quality. I mean, we always did so much shit together. She would take us places with the flight benefits. I mean, I travel with my boys now, and Christy's always like, oh man, I'm so happy that, like, we can do this for the boys. Like, I never went anywhere as a kid. And I'm like, I fucking went everywhere as a kid. My mom took me everywhere, you know? And it was like, yeah, dude, like, I had good parents to, like, say, this is what good communication's like. This is what stern parenting like. This is good cop, bad cop. Like, I got to see all that, you know? And so I can go off of how I was raised, where I made mistakes, where maybe my parents made mistakes also, and try to circumvent that, you know, as I work through mine.
But that's dope though. Like, I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't think people feel bad that they had it good. Why?
Right.
Like, you had it how you had it.
No, yeah.
You could have it fucking great and be a complete piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like, how many people come from a silver spoon and then they end up fucking in the dumps?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because they didn't have what they thought they had or what they wanted. And then you got these people that didn't have everything and then had to figure it out. But also there's people that didn't have anything that didn't figure it out.
Right.
And so you could blame anything you want on anything. The power of fucking excuses is like legendary. But if you do something about it, you can always change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
As long as you do something. And so I was telling my wife this morning, I was like, this isn't, and this is really something that I've noticed more in life. It's like the whole tortoise and the hare. Like, I watch it. I watch people look like they're moving fast. And then you're like, why am I moving so fucking slow?
It's busy work.
Right. Exactly. And it's like all this shit when I go, man, that fucking turtle had it. Now, it's not that he fucking walked slow. Maybe he could have walked faster. Maybe he could have ran. But he kicked it because he knew he didn't need to do anything else but continue the next step, the next step, the next step, the next step. And then he won the race. If he didn't win, if the rabbit won, he still would have won his race.
All that,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all that steps. We talk about it all the time in the fitness world. 1% better, just a little bit better every day. Progress, not perfection. You know, like all those little things. Yeah, it's just about consistency. We had a group call yesterday. What the fuck's today? Monday? Yeah, yesterday we had a group call. We got an 8-week challenge that's going. Shout out to all the folks in the 8-week challenge. They're fucking crushing it right now.
Hell yeah.
But like, we talked about it all, you know, on the phone, and it's like consistency with everything. Consistency with your nutrition. Consistency with your activity, not just in fitness. Consistency with your parenting. Consistency with your work at the job. Like all those things, if you just stay consistent, if you're just working your way,
1% every time, like you said.
And it's the busy work that throws people off. You know, it's like, oh, what can I do to feel busy? Well, yeah, you'll feel busy, but are you really making progress? Let me tell you a funny story.
Yes.
The first 2 years, so I between my security business and the fitness business with Chrissy, I got my real estate license. I didn't know what I was going to do when I was getting out of the traveling. And we had just bought a house, and some of our good friends, they were like, you'd be fantastic at real estate. If you want to get licensed, join our team. We'll teach you the, works and the whole deal. So I went to like real estate college with them for 3 years. The first 2 years on their team, there's all these tasks, right? You make your cold calls, you're reaching out, you're trying to look for business, doing all these things. And I found so many ways to keep myself busy. I felt busy. I felt like I was doing all this stuff. And like, what I've learned after having my real estate license for 9 years now is that what I can accomplish in a year now with a third of the amount of work focused and intentional, I blew so much in the beginning of my real estate career just because I didn't know. I just needed to feel busy and have the things. And like that translates to so many things in life. You know, it's just like, are you doing things intentionally and correctly? And do you have direction with this? And if you do, just keep plugging away. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just do the right things. So,
no, it's true.
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
Like I see that all the time, and it's like you could literally sit there, and I've written out a day, and I'm like, fuck, this is gonna take me forever. Take me 2 seconds, and I'm like, what do you do with the rest of the day? Enjoy it. Yeah. Go be with your wife. Go be with your kids. Like go do something like that extends, the part of your home that you want to make better. Whatever the fuck it is. Like you don't have to sit there and be crazy busy all the fucking time. Just do the right things that make the most sense, that move the needle as much as you can forward each day. And like you're like the turtle, you're gonna win your race.
It's eating the frog. You ever hear that?
No.
You eat the frog. You do the one thing you don't want to do to get it out of the way so you can enjoy the rest of your day.
It's so funny when you say that, like inside, I'd be like, I'll eat that fucking frog.
Right.
Like I don't know what it is about me, like that it does that same thing with you. It's like you're like, I'll eat that frog.
This sucks. But doing this unlocks so much other shit.
Yep.
Just fucking eat the frog.
Yeah, like shut the fuck up. You eat that cat poop.
Do it. Yeah, eat that. You lick that white dog shit.
I eat the whole hunk of shit. Just fucking.
What is that? Is that Step Brothers? It is.
That one was
that white dog shit.
No,
it is. That's Step Brothers. They're walking.
Yeah, it's Step Brothers, but the cat poop one was Anchorman. It's all right. We were there.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with Will Ferrell?
What's right with him?
How do you come up with the ideas for this shit?
I don't know. Have you ever seen some of his outtakes? Like when you see that man freestyle, you're just like, this is funnier than the stuff that they catch on TV.
I don't know if I could do an actual movie with him. I'd never get through a fucking scene.
No, I don't know how I would either.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
But no. But I like what you're saying. Like that eat the frog thing is so cool. And I feel like this is what, so like right now we both are in the fitness space, right? And we're doing fitness, but like our ideas are, we're not like selling fitness. Like we're like, this is the lifestyle, right? And I have a hard time with that personally because I'm like, you kind of have to go through this fitness thing for the rite of passage in order to get that mindset or to understand that. Because I feel like there's nothing in this world that you could physically actually do that will give you actual physical control, because everything is pretty much mental or spiritual. And you're like, I got to think about this, or I got to go do that. Or maybe that guy hurt my feelings and I got to be tough in this, like whatever, right? But if I go grab a weight and I lift it and it hurts and it sucks and I do it over and over and over again, I'm going to get this, outcome. Nothing in life can you actually do physically to actually have control over something besides fitness to get you to a way of thinking.
Can't fake it.
You just can't.
You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
You look at someone who's fit and you can tell a handful of things. I think Bedros says it all the time.
Yeah. All the time.
I can look at someone fit and I know they're disciplined, they're consistent, they're dedicated. They have like certain work ethics that, that are instilled in them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can't look like that. You just can't.
You can't.
You have to have these things. And when you start there, sure, like it's not just about fitness, but if you start with fitness, it teaches you, like you learn those attributes.
Yeah.
But then all that shit trickles over to the rest of your life.
Right.
Like the discipline, the consistency, the dedication. Well, I would like all those things for my parenting. I would like all those things for my work. I would like all those things for my relationship. Like just keep it going. Like how far down the line does it go? How many things do you want to be fucking awesome? Well, just everything you got from fitness or that came from it, that you learned, just apply. Yeah. And so it's kind of the staple. Like it, and it's like, oh, you're just a musclehead. You just want to work out. You just want this. You're like, or you're narcissistic, or you're selfish, or you just want to, it's all about you. You're so self-centered. No, like, because me doing this, being fit, being healthy, being capable allows me to do so many other things in life. I can teach this to my kids. I can make better choices. I can take care of my family physically if I have to. And like all these things, it trickles down. And so sure, it sounds like it looks like on the outside that it's this selfish thing, but it allows me to be the better me and show up as the best version of me on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think people have the masculinity thing messed up, and I think you explained it in a really good way. It's like also you guys, every single one of you in your family does jujitsu.
Yeah, it's a non-negotiable.
Right, and it's like you're sitting there and you go, I gotta fight, I gotta work out, I gotta do this. Like it's not selfish. Mm-hmm. Like it's selfless to do that because now like in any given situation, like I was at coffee with my wife, and she was like, if you weren't here, I couldn't count on any one of these men to protect me if something went down. You know how fucked up that is? I have to be able to be like, and as a man, you think about this, my wife is going. Mm-hmm. And what do women think about the most, I believe, personally? And I'm going to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to call it out and say this is what they do. I don't give a shit. Women.
Yeah, we're just going to blanket statement the whole
I'm going to blanket statement
species.
this whole fucking thing. I don't even give a shit. I like the fact that people want to talk shit to me. I love that. Mm-hmm. They just want to feel safe.
Agreed.
They go to the gas station. Can I get gas right now? They go to Target. Is something going to happen in here? I'm going to grab a coffee. Is somebody going to, you know what I mean? Is this guy walking across the street staring at me? Is he going to do something? Mm-hmm. Right? Then am I at home? Do I feel emotionally safe? I have my kids. Are they safe? Even though they know the fuck out of you as the father and the husband, is he keeping them safe? It's like they were going to watch you like from this other side, like this motherfucker fucks up, he's out. Mm-hmm. Safety of the kids first. Like it's all safety for them. And if you have to think about it, if you're a dude, back in the day in tribal, even if the dude was skinny and small, if he was crazy as fuck and you knew I'm not going to mess with that dude, let alone, I'm not going to fuck with the tribe because that dude's coming after me, you wouldn't do it. That dude kept the tribe safe.
Cue Ace Ventura 2.
Yo, I think about him all the time.
Where the little dude jumps out of the big dude's backpack?
I think I cannot, God, please, the universe is just
reference movies the whole fucking
time. Because I wanted to say earlier, I'm like, that's just something ugly people say. Right. So from Liar. But like, literally, that dude, you would not fuck, he's not the biggest dude. Everybody thought that big guy came out and then it was him. And you're like, fuck that. I'd rather deal with the big guy.
Well, and the safety things, I'd rather this fucking mountain over here.
Yeah, than this crazy fuck.
Yeah, the safety thing's big, but again, I think that goes back to what have you done as a man to prepare yourself? Right. But I also think that as a man, you should prepare your person, prepare your wife.
Yes.
And so like, fortunately, like Christy, like she's big on that anyway. Like her father was a cop also. She was taught how to shoot too. Like when we go back to Illinois, her parents, her family has this like 115 acre property out in the middle of Illinois that's like prime hunting ground, central Illinois. But he has a gun range out there. And so there isn't a time we go to Illinois that we don't go out there and pew a little bit, and like have some fun and run some drills. And her dad's always like, let's do this, let's try that, run the tree, and he's got the whole thing that like spins and all the targets come. It's awesome, it's fun. But Christy's been doing that shit longer than I've known her. You know, her brother, 21-year military guy, just retired. Love that dude to death. He's got 3 kids. His 9-year-old daughter, AR, 100 yards, like no problem. She's great. She's 9, she's cooking it. So sick. But like he's putting that in her. She also boxes with her older brothers. The brothers are 12 and 16. Like they get the gloves on and the boys take knees and they get down and she starts socking them and, like the whole deal. But she's got to know how to do that, Right. And so I think a lot of that falls, back to, sure, we can, provide a certain level of safety, but there's a certain level of like awareness that, women need as well. And so let's tie all that into fitness. Like, are you fit? Can you get away from dude in the Smith's parking lot? Can you protect yourself? Jiu-jitsu is, like I said, a non-negotiable in our family. We got into it just about 3 years ago. Christy and the kids started before me. I didn't fucking want to.
I remember that.
I was old. I'm 42 years old, dude. Like, I was 39, didn't want to start a new sport at 40, knew the shit was going to hurt.
Yeah, you come from sports anyways, yeah.
D1 athlete. I've competed my entire life. the last thing I need to do is have some fucking 16-year-old kid smash me because he knows what's going on and I don't. And that's exactly what happened. And so for the first like 8 months, I hated it. And I was a head case dude. Like I never lost so much in my entire life. I'd never been beat down. I mean, like, wait a second. I'm a bodyguard of 12 years. I'm getting pummeled by this fucking girl who's 130 pounds. Like, not used to it. But, and what I've learned is, you know, those are the capable people, you know? And so can you keep someone away from you as a female for the 3 or 4 minutes while you scream and holler to draw attention long enough to keep yourself safe before you can get some help? You know, can you do that? And so as men, I think you have to instill a little bit of that into your person also.
No, I do. And that's why I'm trying to get Chloe to do more jujitsu.
She's coming around. I like that she's going to the gun range with you. She's doing all the stuff and things. The Rogue Methods thing was fucking awesome, by the way, dude. Shout out to Raul. Yeah. Holy shit.
Rogue Methods
Raul,
is shit.
Yeah, Machine Gun John. Let's go, dude. Fucking, I love that dude. Yeah, Easy. He was great, dude.
Easy's the shit. Like they instilled some stuff with me that like every time I train with those guys, it's literally like they instill this really cool piece of information where you're like, oh shit, that just took me from here to here with my training and understanding. Like nothing. And that's why I like him so much, because a lot of people are just training, here, go to the range, shoot this target. Oh, I got a good grouping. That's not going to fucking happen in real life. Like, shit's going to get weird, and then you're going to have some weird guy over here maybe. Maybe you're not even literally somebody attacking you. Maybe and most of the time, this is what happens with, like, martial arts and gunfighting and stuff. It's somebody else that you have to go in and save. And so their real-life tactical shit is just fucking everything. Like... And it was so cool that you guys went. Yeah. And it was so cool to have like friends there to talk about it and like to grow with and have that stuff. And it's just like, I just love those guys and their training is a shit. And it was fun going through that shoot house.
Yeah, the shoot house was crazy. Yeah. The shoot house was good. Yeah, till Claude shot me in the back 4 times. Good stuff. Hey, burn it down if you can.
Your wife literally fucking just like came out of, because your big ass was right there.
She let everybody fucking kill each other and then peeked out from around the corner.
Not a bad tactic though. I don't mind. You know what I mean? In real life. My dumb ass put my hand up like it was going to stop a bullet. And
like I fucking caught it. Like the one?
Like the one. I caught that shit. There's paint right there. And I was like, no. You know what I mean? So technically I didn't get shot, but like, you know, whatever.
We walked out of there and I was like, hey, we did 2 rounds in the safe house and you never got, or in the shoot house, and you never got shot once. Like, I'll take that as a win. I walked out of there.
1,000%.
I walked out of there feeling like, okay, she ducked in behind me. And sure, I took some hits and maybe I didn't make it out, but she did. She can go get the kids, do whatever, like go on about your business. And like that made me feel like I won.
Yeah. You did. Like, that's like, people don't understand that. Like, we can spend our whole lives training and doing all this stuff. But if we can't protect that person or that person can't get out for free.
When was that we did that? We're in January. Was that October?
Dude, I'm so bad.
October, September, something like that? Listen.
Something like that.
Someone shot me in the ass that day, and I have a fucking burn mark on my ass. To this day, it's my butt cheek, dude. I'm like, what's that from? Like, it was a bruise from one of the pellets?
Dude.
And it straight up just like burned me. I got a scar on my fucking ass.
Dude.
I'm going to send a picture to Raul and just be like, your fault.
Please do it. He would love that shit. But it's even funnier was like when you say that, like I totally, when I was going, I did the gunfighter class with him. So there's all these techniques I learned. So this one girl was going to shoot me. I just grabbed the gun like I was taught, moved it, took it from her hands and just unloaded literally on her ass.
Yes. There you go.
I hope she doesn't have like 4 burn marks. I took her gun and got the fuck out with Claude.
Yeah, it's a good thing she doesn't have the BBL, and now she's got dimples in that thing for life. It's like they got filler in there, but like she's got like a big golf ball dimple in it because you just decided to pelt her with the.
It's like a Jello. It just kind of goes in a little bit and stays there, but it had to come out, so now you got this divot.
Yeah. I love it. Stupid shit.
I can't believe you still got a burn mark.
Yeah, it's a scar at this point, just straight up, just like, yep.
Those things hurt.
Yeah.
Those fucking little paint pellets.
You know what's funny is when you were like, hey, everybody get your hoodies on, I was like, oh, I brought a hoodie, but okay, I need a hoodie. So I put it on because you said so. Dude, if I didn't have that on, it would have been so much worse.
Sucked, right?
Yeah, so much worse.
Yeah, and then like it was so funny because like, oh, I'm like, oh yeah, I got my gloves. I'm not even gonna fucking front. And I came out of the car, putting gloves on, and Claude looked at me like,
yeah.
And I was like, she's like, are you kidding me? I go, no, I'm just kidding.
And you didn't wear them?
No, I didn't wear them because obviously I'm going to give them to her. And then I caught that fucking bullet. It was straight hand, bro.
Yeah.
And all that
shit. I got shot in the knuckle. And I was like, oh, I'll have gloves on next time.
Yeah, I brought gloves. I was like, yeah. And then she looked at me and I was like, man, fuck. Here you go.
There's your duty.
Yeah.
Do your duty.
Do your duty. But like, again, like use, and I'm gonna bring this up because it'll be fun to talk about. It's like, it's almost like as men, this is going to be fucking good. And I'm literally just cooking this shit up right now. It feels so good. I'm so glad I get to talk to you about it. We're literally sacrificial fucking lambs. Think about it. And that's why I think men have such a hard fucking time being men, is because you have to be sacrificed at any moment. You could do everything in the fucking world and you are worth something, but you're worth nothing in that moment. But you got to realize that you are worth everything because you're saving that woman, or you're saving that child, or you're saving your friend, whatever the fuck, or the lady at Starbucks for no fucking reason. You know, because that's your duty as a man. You literally are there to be a sacrificial lamb and to sacrifice yourself. I'm sacrificing my feelings. I'm sacrificing this. I'm not talking about it. I'm being a man. I'm doing this. Like, think about it. All we do is sacrifice just for one moment to be useful.
The mentality on that too, I think, like, isn't always understood. And so I think it's good to have conversations with your wife or with your girlfriend, your spouse, your person, whoever the fuck it is. Like, it's good to have like those conversations. I was in a car, I don't know how long ago. Christy, it's me, Christy, boys are in the back seats, right? They're 6 and 8 years old. Road rage is happening in the lane up above us, right? And so you see car comes out, cuts the other person off, starts slamming on their brakes, check braking, the whole deal, right? So then we pull by, and you see that it's a girl in the car who's being harassed by a dude, and he's just like swerving around. He's in the shoulder. He's pulling up next to her. He's yelling everything he can out the window, right? And so I just, like, without thinking, like, out loud, I said, please, God, don't make me have to intervene.
Yep.
I just said it out loud, right? And I'm in the car, right? And Christy looked over at me and she goes, what are you going to do? And it was almost in like a challenging way, but like, I know that she wasn't challenging me because I know who she is. Like, she just said, what are you going to do?
She wants to be safe.
And I said, I don't know, but can we just let this happen? And she's like, well, we're all in. She's like, let's run the scenario. And she started fucking talking it through, right? And she's like, let's run the scenario. We're all in cars. You got your kids in the back. I'm in the car. We don't know them. You're going to hop out? You're going to speed away? You're going to chase someone down? Like, what can we do? And I was like, honestly, at this point, call 311, call 911. Like, at this point, all I can do.
Woman's getting harassed
but
in the
like,
car.
the initial is, damn, I'm going to have to fucking help out, right? Because like, as a man, I feel like that's my job. And if this chick gets run off the road, what are you going to say to me for having done nothing? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, are you going to be like, babe, are you going to help? I expect you to know that I'm going to help, right? But at the same time, she made me weigh all the options, right?
Yep.
Our kids are in the back. Sure, if I'm in a car by myself and maybe they pull over and everyone gets out of the car, I make sure that this dude doesn't do anything weird, like beat this chick's ass on the side of the road or something like that, right? But she brought up a good point. You have to weigh your options and figure out what scenario you're in. But the initial, like, please, Lord, don't make me have to intervene on this. Like, it's there. It's in us. And I think that just kind of goes back to being men and
we're supposed to.
Having to do that.
Yeah, because a real man is going to step in and be like, this guy's not acting like one. And I tell my wife that all the time, especially even with my son. I go, there's things you don't understand that are primal within us as men. My son is going to fucking test me. And I want him to test me.
Can't wait for it.
Like, he tests me now in little things.
Not like I'm going to beat your ass kind of way, but like, I hope that like you start to perk up.
Yeah, like I got done shooting and one of the fucking glasses and he came back and he couldn't wait to tell me how much faster he was at guns. And he took his guns and he was cocking the fucking little Nerf gun and doing all this shit. And I was like, hell yeah, you're faster and better than me.
Yep.
Like, I know a lot of dads would be like, no, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, you are supposed to feed that animal so that he grows up to be a good man. But like, you're always going to be pushed and sacrificed in this area. And like, that's an example of like testing that part of you. And you're like, this is supposed to happen.
So he's got like Nerf guns and like little toy guns and stuff like that?
Dude, he has a practice gun that is literally people use for self-defense practice, like the yellow one. Yeah. That's like the size of a Glock. Like he has that shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good too. Like we've started to warm up to that a little bit. So like, you know, for a while there, I was too rushed to make them grow up, right? Like I said, like my expectation level was like,
got it.
Like I got to tell you, I got to tell you once. Why am I telling you a second time? Oh, because you're fucking 2.5 years old. That's why I'm telling you a second time. Like I can't lose my patience with you.
No.
Right. But at the same time, like we want them to be, I want them exposed so that they can be prepared, that it's not the first time they saw something. And she very much wants to protect like that childhood innocence. And so we're trying to find that balance. And I think the Rogue Methods thing actually really warmed her up a bit to coming to my side of things because she realized like we'd gotten away a little bit from our own like firearms training. You know, like it had been a solid year, I think, since we each handled our firearms.
Oh, shit.
When she and I first met, we both had concealed carry permits, both raised by cops, knew how to shoot, that whole deal, and we both carried, right? And then had kids, still carried, and then as the kids got mobile and started moving around and started climbing drawers and dressers, the firearms started getting put a little higher, a little higher, a little higher, right? And then before you know it, they're put in the safe and they never come out again. They're never on the desk. They're never on a drawer. And I hate to say, but like out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
Now I'm not carrying every day. Now I'm not at the gun range once a month or once every 6 months or whatever it is, right? But like you're not as consistent. And without them being firearms, being consistent like in our own lives, we started to sort of shelter the boys a little bit away from some of that. Like we don't really play video games and do like screens and stuff like that. We watch the movies and stuff like that here.
They're
and
gonna
there.
hit it, but
like they're getting it from their friends now. Now they're in school and like they're playing Nerf guns or they're playing this or they hear about Call of Duty or they hear about whatever it is, right? And so they're coming around. So the Rogue Methods thing kind of got Christy going again, and now they've got like laser tag, you know, and stuff like that. Like they're shooting each other. She stopped asking them to use their shooters and now they use their guns. You know what I mean? It's like we were trying to like mask and maybe band-aid the words to make it not so like violent.
Yeah, but why?
the reality is that they kind of need to be exposed to that because all their friends are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna this, I'm gonna that, and it's like that's the games that they're playing. So they kind of need to have that. There's a certain level, and I gentle parented as long as I could, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I did that, but they need to have some of that, and we want them to be firearm aware because there's firearms in the house.
Exactly, and that's another thing about being, like I said before, about being a man and knowing there's man things and there's woman things. And you want to respect.
Do the dishes. No, like,
or I'll shoot you. You fuck. No. It's like, but like the woman is being the woman and she's right? But this is something that I've always learned, that I've taught Nova. And I'm so grateful for my wife that we have been so together on basically everything. And he's going to get exposed to it. It's not safe to keep him away from it. It's not safe to not talk about it. It's not safe to not show him what it is. Prime example, you would think that teaching your kid how to get out of his car seat is a bad thing.
Oh, no.
It's not safe. Raul, again, Rogue Methods, shout out. Okay, he told me the story when he was a cop, and I don't have all the details, but basically this little girl was stuck. And he's like, I'll never forget the image of blonde hair going up in flames. And I'm like, I could lose it right now thinking about any of my family. And I'm like, immediately I went home and taught my son. And I taught him why and how. Now with the gun, the practice gun, that's a real fucking, it feels like a gun. It's weighted. It's just a piece of plastic. And I go, this is how you handle a gun. I can't tell you how many times that dude walks around with the gun, with his finger like this, where it's supposed to be, and holds it down. And I'm like, dude, this is your area. You don't point it at me unless you're going to shoot me. And he's still a kid. And so he'll be like, yeah, like that. And then he'll go, oh, sorry, Dad. Like, I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like, I don't get mad, nothing. But he's learning because violence is going to be out there. And I want him to, when I'm not around, just like when your wife's not around, like you feel pretty confident now that she shoots, she does jujitsu, she's fit, she's strong, she can help the boys, like, right? So you're like, all right, I've done my due diligence as a father and a husband. Now my son needs to grow up like that because I'm not going to be there all the time. People are like, try to keep them away from drugs and alcohol. I'm not saying here's some fucking coke, some booze, bro, fuck it up. But like, I'm gonna be real with dude. So that when he's exposed to it, he can make his decision, not be peer pressured or anything like that.
Yeah.
So he's safer. That's the safest way, I believe.
And it's great, yeah. And I think that, like you said, they need some of that exposure. Like you have to have it so that you know. I don't want it to be a surprise, right?
Why not get it from you, right?
It's funny too. Like it became just sort of like the way that we did things. Like y'all will buckle yourselves in and unbuckle yourselves out of these car seats. It's been like that. I haven't buckled a kid in or taken one out in years. You know what I mean? I mean, Cameron's into a booster seat now and out of the bucket, you know, but when you're in the newborn, then you go to the bigger one, then the thing stretches out. And then before you know it, that seat's gone and you're in the booster seat. Like Cam's in the booster seat. Now it's just regular seatbelt, you know? But, you know, Colt, sometimes he gets in the car and he's like, can you turn the light on? And I'm like, why? And he's like, because I can't see the buckles. And I'm like, bro, I'll wait.
Yeah, I got no problem hanging out here. You got this time. Like,
and I just say, like, I just don't like the light on in the car, bud. Go ahead. You got it. Like, we're waiting. It's cool. You know? But, like, yeah, they got to know. You know, little shit like that, you know? And so I do another thing with them, too, from my security, you know, shit and my security-minded thing. if it's like a Saturday or Sunday, we're all home. Like the boys are at school, it's different, obviously, because they're not around.
Right.
But if she's gonna go run an errand, who's going with mom? Who's keeping an eye on mom? Like I say that to them, like who's gonna go keep an eye on mom? We're in a parking lot. Who's holding mom's hand to make sure mom's safe? Like I put that responsibility on them.
Dope.
I also work with them. I call it pitch relation. When you're doing like EP security, you know, you walk behind and to the side of.
Yes.
And so I call it pitch relation. And so like, where would you want your pitch in football to be sent? Well, like that's your comfort zone. Like find your pitch relation and walk with mom. Keep an eye. Can you see what's coming in front? What's coming behind?
That's
like
dope.
all those things. And I just kind of do that to have fun with them. But when they turn 15, 16, 17 and they're walking behind their girl or whatever it is, and they get a door, you know, and all those things and they can see what's going on, like all that trickles down. And so I just start like, why not? No, she hates it sometimes when I'm like, who's keeping an eye on mom? She's like, no, they're my babies. And I'm like, they're not going to be forever.
It's that male-female
and
thing.
you'll
You're
have,
like, stop it. Let me
they're
just,
my babies.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know
like,
you're your babies. They're going to be fine.
Yeah,
They're still your babies.
he's 6 and he's also keeping an eye on you. So yeah,
like let this man thing happen.
Yeah,
right?
just let it happen. We're walking into Target. Like just let it be.
Yeah,
it's cool.
And that's actually I'm gonna say it just for fun, like because people are gonna watch this, women are gonna watch this. Let your fucking husband teach your fucking kids how to be a man. Like that's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to be there because they're supposed to have this loving, affectionate feelings, and they treat women so they know how. You see the difference. Like what is it? The statistic of people, the majority of men that are in prison are fatherless, right? Anything that has happened, if you look down the line, father wasn't there. Right? Moms try to do it, but moms aren't masculine. You got a kid that's going to start hitting the fucking mom all the time. Well, guess what? My son fucking goes off and kids hit, man. They don't know how to control their anger or their emotions like they're learning, right? And so I always tell him, I'm like, bro, like, you want to hit somebody? Hit me. You're mad? Come at me, bro. Like, that's what you do. You don't hit women. You don't talk to them. I go, this is your mother. I go, women are top tier. Your mother is top tier. Like you don't mess with that. You treat her with respect and you protect her. We have to be able to do that as men and women. You have to let your husband, man of the child, do that shit. Yeah. If you don't, you're gonna have a fucking imbalanced child. I'm just gonna fucking say it.
2 things off of what you just said. One, we have upstairs, they're in the same bedroom. So the 3rd bedroom in our house is a playroom.
Cool.
There's a jujitsu dummy, which is like just a life-size dummy. It's stuffed with like work towels and shit. But like they are free reign. You got rage inside of you, go upstairs and beat, we call him JD, jujitsu dummy. Go whoop JD's ass. Go upstairs. You're allowed to punch, kick, pull, bite. I don't care. Get it out of your system and then come on back down and we'll talk about everything. So go get that out of your system. And we hear Cameron sometimes go up there and I know he's picking this thing up and slamming it. And it's got to weigh 60, 70 pounds.
That's
and I'm like,
sick.
bro, get it out of there. Like,
Hell
go ahead.
yeah.
There's mats out on the floor. Go get it out of your system. Get up there and beat the shit out of somebody.
Yep.
The other thing, and I've said this to Christy a couple of times, and I don't know where I fucking heard it from, but I heard it from someone. But there are some times where she steps in and she's like, no, you're making them grow up too fast. And maybe not growing up too fast, but I'm trying to teach them something. And something that I say, and I have said a couple of times is, do you love me? Yes. Do you love the man that I am? Yes. Then you have to let me teach them to be the same. Like I'm trying to teach them my principles and how I am. And the only way that I know how to do that is by teaching them what I think. And so I want them to grow up and be men. And if you enjoy me and you appreciate the person that I am, let me guide that. And there are some things that you as mom, you can't stop that. Like that just has to happen. I have to have some hard conversations with them. I have to have some hard discipline with them. There are some things that just have to be so that so that they understand this is the way that we as men operate.
Yeah, and that's like,
and
that's
if you love me and you love how I am, you have to let me mold them into that. Like I can't mold them into Noah.
No.
I can't mold them into X, Y, and Z. Like I can only be, I can only do what I know how to, and that's just gonna, help them become. So
because also, and you can say this too, this is a little bonus thing that I've just with talking with you, it's like if you're not gonna do it, somebody else is going to.
Somebody else is sure as fuck.
And that's what they don't understand. Is like, this is part of the fucking pecking order. When my son says something to me and I say something to him, my wife is like, not gentle parent, but like, and I look at her and I go, come here, pull her aside. Like, so he doesn't like, they fucking hear everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
God, they hear everything.
Yeah. I'm like, you have to understand something. I'm not, to you as a woman, if I were to say this to you, that's how you feel right now, right? Yeah, cool. He's not a woman. He's a dude. And I'm talking to him like a dude. I talk to my friends like you have no idea. Just shout out to all the men with the group chats out there and the fucked up shit we say and talk to each other. We have friends, literally, me and 2 other guys, we were meaner to each other growing up than we were nicer. And we're the best of friends.
Isn't it fantastic?
Right? But that's the way we fucking roll. So like, if you don't let that moment or those moments happen, they're not going to be able to be men.
It's character builders.
It's exactly. And so, but on the other hand, somebody is always good. Like something is always going to happen. Somebody's going to do it. If it's not you, it's somebody else in every area. If you're not going to get fit, that guy next to you is going to get fit. If you're not going to ask that girl out, that dude's going to ask that girl out. If you're not going to fucking go after that bag of cash, that motherfucker's going after that bag of cash. If you're not raising your family, the motherfucker's going to step in and raise the shit out of that family. So again, you have to be able to look at the woman, and I'm saying this to all men, and be like, this is my job. I'm not going to do it. Somebody else fucking is. Do you want that? Like you said, you love me? Do you trust me? Good. Do you want anybody else raising these dudes? No? Cool. Let me raise these dudes. And then when they're crying and they're doing their thing, then mom time. And I won't step in mom time, you're babying them. No, because they're going to get balanced and they're going to grow up fucking gangster.
Every once in a while when I'm downstairs and I hear her just fucking head pop off and she starts screaming, I'm like this. fucking
Man, when they go and my
dose
wife
is
too,
coming around right now. Okay, get your dose in right now. Like every once in a while,
straight up, I'm like this. I'm like,
I've been in the fridge and just been like, oh, this shit is happening right now. She let him. I'm staying downstairs. It's not gonna be me today.
No,
yeah,
not.
Yep,
dude. I fucking love that, and it's so funny. That's why it's cool to talk to somebody else because you're like, you don't sit there and talk to a lot of people about these small little moments about being a dad or being a husband.
That's the kind of shit, though.
But it's the fucking same shit.
That's
bro.
the stuff that's important in the in between stuff, you know.
Yes.
And she and I do a really good job of like being on the same page. You know, a lot of the times, like we know our boys, and they'll come up and they'll go, "Hey, Dad, can I blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "What'd your mom say?" Like, I already know. I already know that you were upstairs next to mom. You came up with this idea. You asked her, and I know what her response was going to be. And so you trickled down the stairs to see what Dad would say. You're not about to get me caught up. And so, no, I'm like, go ask your mom or whatever it may be, you know, but we do a pretty good job of being on the same page. And like, we don't correct each other in front of them.
Dope.
We do have like those sidebars, you know, and we're like, hey, how do we want to address this next time? And that's the communication with your wife, right? With the co-parent, whoever it is. And, you know, shout out to the ones who have additional co-parents. You know, some people are not together anymore and you got to figure out how to raise kids with other people who are in their lives. Open those lines of communication, you know, like try to figure out how that person can be on the same page with you and the mother of the child or you and the father of the child. But like, if you're going to have a step parent or a new boyfriend or something, like have that communication as the child's parent, have that communication line open with that person so that everyone's on the same page, you know?
Yeah, no, that's important because then you're going to sit there and be selfish as an adult and not do that, what you just said. And then what's going to happen to the kid?
Yeah.
The kid's fucked.
Mixed signals.
I said this. I'm not going to say how, so it doesn't hurt anybody's fucking feelings. But I said this to somebody the other day about their kid. There was another dad and they had a kid, right? And they said something about the kid. The kid's an adult. And I said, you know what? There's never bad dogs. There's just bad owners.
What?
And inside I was like, yo, I felt fucking like my dick was longer than the fucking the Nile. And I was like, I just said it.
Just
I fucking said it. Like, there are no bad dogs. There are bad owners.
What was the reaction?
Laughed.
Okay.
And was like, you're right. And that was it.
There you go.
But, you know, everybody was old enough. But it was my idea behind it, like, again, was like, when I look at a kid, I immediately like I've been tested as a father too, of not hitting another father because of how their kid is acting. And I never blame that fucking kid. I would never. I look straight at the dad and be like, I'm going to hit you because of this kid did this shit, right? And it's been recent in my life. And a couple times, and I'm like, is God telling me to choose violence?
Right.
I don't understand the signals.
Yeah, like, am I supposed to teach a lesson to this person?
Yes. And then, am I not being a man if I don't? Like, it's fucking weird. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll say it because there's so many questions we have as men. Like, what should we do in this situation? Because in my head, I promised myself, if it happened again, I'm going to look at somebody and go, okay, you and me on the mat. Like, we'll go to a place. We'll do like something. I go, I don't give a fuck. This is not happening again because now it's me. Like, what are the decisions?
Have you ever seen the Daniel Cormier interview?
No.
When he's talking about he took his kid to the park and there was a little boy and he was pushing past all the other kids and he kept pushing, his son is Daniel Jr. He kept pushing Danny down, right? And so he's like, so he tells all the guys, like, when I was fighting, you know, he's a UFC fighter, right?
Yeah,
so he's like, when I was fighting, I was wired different. And he's like, so this little boy keeps pushing my boy down, right? So I walked over to the dad. I said, hey, get your kid, tell him to stop pushing the kids down. If he pushes my son down again, I'm going to push you down.
Exactly. That's how
everybody was like, yo, you can't do that. And he goes, yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
I did it. He's like, yes, you can. I did it. And I was just like, that's fucking wild. You
like,
know?
What would you do?
Like, what do you do? Like, not only is another person saying this to you, but now you got like Daniel Cormier, who's like UFC champion, you know, like sitting there who's like, I'm gonna push you down. He's like, the father grabbed his kid and left. And somebody else was like, he should have. And he's like, you damn right he should have.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude.
But that's the thing. It's like, you can't even look at the kid. Like, it's
bad owners.
It's exactly. There's no such thing as bad dogs. There's bad owners. And I look at that all the time because here's the thing too. Like, I'm a motherfucking man and I'm not here just to protect mine. If I see kids, I immediately, like, I will fight parents inside my head because those kids need a fucking chance. And if that dad is being a dick or this person, I will say something, not only like how you run your kid's life, but if something were to happen, I'm not afraid to stand my ground and be like, you should do better if the situation comes. But like, I do feel responsible for not only helping and protecting mine, but other women and children. Like, and I know you feel the same way. So it's like, if I'm looking at that and that situation, I'm just like, yo, like, what do you do?
Well, there clearly isn't respect that's being taught.
Right, because you can't sit there and I'm not trying to tell people how to parent.
Every other kid's waiting in line for the slide except for yours. Like, what's going on? You know? And so it's like, come on, dude. Like, get with it. This isn't his fault. It's yours. And so, get to it.
Yeah, just get your fucking shit together.
So how long until I hear on Fox 5, Noah Valinsky, your mama, you know, beat some dude's ass at the fucking park?
I don't know.
Okay.
It might be sooner than later, but it might be not at all.
I got 100 on the bail if you need.
And that's another thing, people. If somebody goes to fucking jail, and I just want to say this because it's funny, because I've been to jail so many fucking times. So many times I've been to jail. It's not a good thing, right? But not like I've been to prison. No, I just been arrested and went to jail and like did like overnight or some shit like that, right? So whatever. I'm not like this fucking huge criminal, but I've done a bunch of stupid shit. The point is when you get bailed out, it's 20%. Okay? Somebody's like, they have $100,000 bail. It's $20,000. Okay? They have $5,000 bail. Okay, cool. It's $1,000. Like, just shut the fuck up.
You're
like,
downplaying it. It's easy. Just come bail me out. Okay.
Bail your friends out. Okay? It's not $5,000.
Don't let them sit there. Yeah.
Don't let them sit there and fool you like it's a lot of money. Okay, it's a percentage. It used to be 20%. I don't know what it is now. I've been arrested a long time.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Let's not do that.
No, I don't plan on doing that. In fact, just for funsies, I train with so many officers now and different things like that. Where I look at officers like before, you used to be like, cops, all this other stuff. And of course, because you're an idiot and you're a criminal, so you don't want them to stop you from being an idiot, right? But now I'm like, how can I help them protect these people along with them? Yeah. I have a concealed carry. I carry wherever I go, and I'm sitting there going, it's my job to also help these men do their job because it's scary as fuck. Like they're putting their life on the line. And there's obviously, my son asked me this. This is crazy. My son somehow got the idea from some of his friends or somebody that cops were like bad and they'll pull you over. And like, it's a bad thing. I go, let me tell you something. There are good people and there are bad people. And they are in every single profession that you see. They're in cops, there's teachers, there's, parents, there's people at the fucking Foot Locker, whatever. There's good and bad people. Just because they're a cop or this thing doesn't make them good or bad. Their choices make them good or bad.
Absolutely.
And that's it. I go, I know so many people. I go, my buddy Cam. Cam's a police officer. And I was like, he loves Cam.
Shout out to Cam the operator.
Cam the operator. That is a big human being. I tapped him the other day because I didn't want his nuts close to my face.
Yeah, well.
I was like, I don't care. I don't care.
He's an adult.
He's a fucking massive individual. But just so it's jujitsu, okay? It's not anything else. But it's none of anybody's business.
Hey, if that's how you guys get down, if that's your friendship.
If that's your friendship, that's your friendship. But I was like, Cam's a cop. You know what I mean? Like, and he was like, oh, I'm like, what do you think of Cam? He's like, I like Cam. Cam's a nice guy. I go, okay, cool. So just because they're pulling you over
Yeah.
Doesn't mean shit.
We give the boys options in the car. You know, like sometimes they see a cop car has a car pulled over, and like Cam will go, "Ooh, that person's in trouble. They were probably speeding," and then one of us will just go, "Or maybe they needed some help." Maybe
Solid. I love that shit.
Maybe they were sick and a cop pulled over and helped them.
Yep.
Maybe they had a flat tire. Maybe they weren't feeling good, and so they called for help, and the cop's there, and then medics coming as well. You know, you never know, and so I just give them the option to see it in just a different light, right?
Yeah.
Like what's the other way that you can see it? And obviously, like Christy's dad being a cop, my dad being a cop, like we're super pro cop, and I was raised by cops. My aunts and uncles were, they're still throughout the family, but like you said, there's good and there's bad in every profession. There's good personal trainers and bad personal trainers. Yeah. There's good realtors and there's bad realtors. There's, everything. So it's like, you got to just expose them.
Yeah. And that's what I tell them. I was like, man is basically good. It's his choices that determine who he is. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I was like, and you can make those choices. And that's what, since he was a baby, we've always been like, these are your two choices. This is going to happen either way. Mm-hmm. Pick which one.
Yeah.
And then he gets to pick, he gets power of choice, he learns that and everything like that. But there's always going to be a boundary, a consequence, or something like that. And I'm never going to stray with it. He's going to realize that he makes his own choices.
Yeah, we had to do that with Colt. It got to a point with him where he was just like, I feel like you guys always tell me what to do. You guys are always telling me what to do and where to go. And so we just started saying, hey, bud, here's the options. Boom, boom. Which one do you want?
Yep. It's the best way.
And he would go, well, I don't want to do either of those. Well, hold on. These are the options. Like, we're doing one or the other. Right. You can choose, though. Like, which one do you want? What do you want for dinner? Here are the 3 things that you can choose for dinner, but this is it, And so, well, I want cereal for dinner. Well, tough shit. That's not an option.
That's not the option. Yeah.
You can choose, but you can choose from these selections, you know? Like, that's it.
And the dinner thing is crazy. We would look at him and we would make the dinners that we make, and he'd be like, I don't want that, and get upset. Cool. No, I will never force him to eat. Never. I don't give a fuck. I'll never force him to eat, but
there isn't another option.
Yeah. This is dinner. This is what we made, right? If you don't want to eat, cool, bro. Hang out with us, play your toys, whatever you want. Live your fucking life. But you're going to be hungry later. And so many times he's eaten a little bit and been like, I'm full. And then later he goes, I'm hungry. I go, you're hungry because you didn't eat your dinner. I'm not hungry. Mama, are you hungry? No? Oh, because we ate our dinner.
We do this thing called kitchens closed.
Dope.
Kitchen closes at a certain time.
And
so it's not the same time every night because schedules change and things like that.
It's going to be hard to do that, especially if you're eating like on your macros and you're like, I need to eat this last meal. And you're like, what are you fucking doing, Dad?
So here's it's easy for us because if like I got to get some snack in later and it's past kitchen's close time and so Colt's the #1 offender. So he'll come down, and he'll go, Dad, I think I want something. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, well, do you want the rest of your salmon and the rice that you didn't finish and the carrots that you didn't finish? Or, like, what do you want? And he's like, no, I don't want that. I'm like, well, hold on a second because that was dinner. And if you didn't finish dinner, I'm assuming you're full. And so if you're full, that's fine. Kitchen's closed unless you want to finish your dinner. Well, why are you eating? Well, I finished my dinner and now I'm hungry again. So even though kitchen's closed, I'm hungry and I can eat because I ate my last meal. Like that's the way that I circumvent that. But at the same time, there's times where he smashes dinner and he'll come up to me and he'll go, hey, Dad, is kitchen closed? And I'm like, you ate your dinner, right? Yeah. I'm like, well, what do you want? And the other rule that we have is, if you eat everything that we gave you, all bets are off now. You can now have whatever you want. I don't care.
That's dope.
So if you ate the protein, the carbs, and the fats or veggies or whatever it is that we put on your plate and you ate it all to completion and it's gone and an hour later you're hungry, bro, go in the pantry.
Yeah, because you can't stop them.
You ate what I asked.
Yeah, like if they're growing, like you can't sit there and stop that, right? Get fucking massive.
We do it.
Like,
we gonna get huge all the time.
And then like Nova will do the same thing and be like, hey, Dad, can I have a treat while he's in the middle of eating? I go, bro, 1,000%. He goes, really? I go, yeah, finish that.
Yeah, you, absolutely.
You finish that? Go. You have it. You want a popsicle?
Yep, absolutely.
What do you want?
Yeah. I like when they come up to us and they go, can I have a bag of chips? And I go, and then they go, what if I have 2 protein sticks with it, like 2 turkey sticks with it?
Gangster.
All right, shit. Yeah. Now we got a deal.
Run that play.
Now we got a deal.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's what I look at him and he does. I do that. I do this thing now. I call it pizza egg.
Okay.
It's just an egg, dude. It's 2 eggs. I flip it on the pan, let it cook. And then once it cooks, I flip it here and then I just cut it like a pizza.
Oh.
So this motherfucker slams pizza eggs.
Pizza
eggs. I have a pizza egg.
Okay.
I'm like, run that. I'll make it for you right now.
Absolutely.
And then all the time, so he's getting protein. And then he's like, Dad, can I have some of this? And like we buy, shout out to 3 Wishes cereal. That is one of the best cereals I've seen as far as ingredients, taste, and everything. And protein intake, it's awesome. So like, Dad, can I have cereal? Okay, you can have cereal. I'm like, I looked at the macros of this cereal versus oatmeal because I'm on like, try to look at my macros. Like, what do I want to eat that I could stay in line with my shit? And I'm like, this cereal's 10 times better than oatmeal.
Because every guy wants to sit on the couch in his underwear and eat a bowl of cereal. Why not have protein
Dude,
cereal?
you can have your cake and eat it too, right? You just got to fucking know how to do it. And again, you just hire guys like you so that they can speed up the process.
Hire guys like you. I straight up put a scoop of protein powder in cereal when I have to.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll do this. Yo, with the milk, like if it's good cinnamon cereal with a little bit of cookies, fuck off, dude.
Done.
Dude, I got this thing right now. It's in my bag. Literally, I was like, how do I get protein in while I'm here? I'm like, oh shit, Greek yogurt, and I got cookies and cream protein. Scoop
What
that
kind of
shit
bag
up.
are you rocking? I saw that over there on the
That
channel.
little bag?
which one?
Let me tell you something. This company, Rigwa.
Rigwa. You still doing the Rigwa? Okay.
Yes, and it's like when I was prepping for my show, like I can't tell you all the things I didn't know I needed for travel and getting my meals in at the weirdest times.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I got it down to a fucking science. And this company with their stuff is like single-handedly helped me out. And then now their containers are so cool because, you know, you get those plastic containers and I don't want plastic, right? I don't want to deal with that. I don't want spillage. So these things will just sit there and I can even put them in my meal backpacks that I have and they got different sizes.
Yeah.
Put that bitch in there.
Stackable.
Stack them. I heat everything up and then put it in there because obviously it's not, you can't put that shit in the microwave. And then I know that shit stays tight.
Done.
And it's like, and then they threw me a bag and I was like, yo, this bag's fucking awesome. I'm like,
It's great.
yeah. So that company rules. The customer service is awesome. And like their stuff is like, I throw that shit down the street.
Little tools, man. Little tools like that. Cool.
That's all it is.
I like it.
Cool, man. Anything else you want to talk about, say?
Dude.
Kind of wrapped up around time here.
I appreciate you, just having me out, man. It's always cool just to rap. Every time we get together and we talk, we're always like, why don't we just do this? We can, like,
No,
yeah.
I just need this. Like
Yeah.
I have so many good conversations with so many good people, especially you and me. And it's like, this is never here.
Cool.
And so I wanted to create that. And so also
like
too,
it.
let everybody know your handles, like how to get a hold of you, how to find you, all that.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. So FitLV_men's_coaching is my Instagram handle. Christie's is FitLV Fitness and Nutrition. And that's the business, FitLVFitness.com. We do online programming, and so it is online fitness and nutrition. We do programming for all scales. Christy is pregnant and postpartum certified, so she works with women while they're pregnant, women when they're postpartum. She's awesome at making sure that their macros are balanced for milk supply and things like that. She's got someone for pelvic floor therapy, all that stuff for the women. And then as far as the guys, I do the men's coaching. I've got guys who have never worked out, and I've got guys who have been professional athletes. And so all walks of life, I have programming for everybody, depending on what your abilities are, what your scales are, whether you work out at home, whether you work out at a Globo gym, whether you have, full fitness, at like whatever it is, whatever your equipment is, we can figure it out.
Yep.
And so the whole thing comes together, and we do a little bit of lifestyle training and all that. We have a couples program too for some couples who, want to figure out how to implement health and fitness into their life and make it sustainable, but also like, how do you navigate that with your person? Because there's always challenges, because girls are girls and guys are guys, and one's weird and the other's weirder. And so, it's just, it's a battle and it's a constant struggle, but we push the communication and we make sure we have check-ins and there's a process. So we see great success out of it, man. I appreciate the opportunity to plug it because it's a really special program.
Yeah.
And like I said, it can fit for almost anyone. So if you're willing to, the almost anyone is for the folks that are willing to do the work. That's really what it is.
So question, so fit could also mean a couple of different things for fit. You could fit anybody in the program and you get fit.
Fit anybody in the program, can get fit while you're doing it, and we'll teach you, how to just kind of, get through the day-to-day stuff, man. Sometimes that's the battle. So
It's literally the battle.
It's good. Functional, intense training is what it started off as, and that's kind of what we're big on is functional training. So, if you want to, be able to, if you're a woman and you want to be able to pick up the 60-pound box that just got delivered to your front door. And
From Amazon, because
I don't need no man to help me with this box. Like, I got
from
you.
Amazon,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, from Amazon. Yeah. With the other 1,100 boxes that are coming. It's like Santa's wish list when it shows up to the house. It's like, Jesus, there's just box after box after box.
What the fuck is this shit? What else do we need?
What do they, I don't know. Amazon's got a lock on everything. It's crazy.
And it makes it so easy to get.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you, having me and thinking of me as one of the guys that you wanted to do this.
Dude, 1,000%. And that was like another thing. I'm like, I want other people to be able to have a voice too. And like, it's not just me having a voice. And that's what I thought about. I was like, man, I'm always pushing my voice. Why not? I've always been able to connect people. I'm like, why don't I just push other people's voice and like I see a lot of people that are like on podcasts, and I'm like, man, this guy's a better story than that guy. And just because he's got followers or this, that, fuck that. This guy's, and I want to be able to put that out there. And so I want you to have as much content and things like that as possible, and your voice to be bigger than it is, man. I want that. So
and that's cool. I appreciate that too, because one thing is, you know, like in the social media world where everything is so big on putting it out there, like I still am like a pretty private person. I think a little bit of that comes from like it will forever be instilled from that like security background of like not wanting people to know who I'm with or where I am and all that stuff. And so like I'm always a little bit hesitant putting stuff out there. But yeah, dude, like again,
this is the stuff people want to see, man.
It is.
They want to see you talk about this, and this isn't putting anything secure out there, but this is something that I think people are actually holding on to that need to be spoken more about.
Yeah, people can resonate with it. If you just come out and be real.
That's it.
Yeah. And I want to attract the people that are like us. So
yeah,
if I can talk about my story, talk with you a little bit, you know, and just kind of say, hey, this is who we are. If you fuck with that, then come fuck with us, you know?
100%.
I like it.
All right, man.
Cool, bro.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yep.